Are you ready to live your dream? Motivation, inspiration, and passion. That's what it takes to make dreams come true. Welcome to the Nadia Sahari Show. Our guests will share important tips, insights, and knowledge to help you fulfill your dreams of success. Here's your host, actress, author, entrepreneur, Nadia Sahari.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Nadia Sahari Show. I'm your host, Nadia Sahari. Let me tell you a little bit about my show and what I'm doing here. We all are dreamers. We all have a dream of writing a book, acting in a movie, getting a record label, or having our own business. And my dream, since I was 10, was to be an actress, and I'm still doing that. I'm an entrepreneur, too, because I love business. What am I going to do? I'm an author, too, because I love to write. So what am I going to do? Anyway, that's why I invite guests to my show who will share their secrets, their journey, and their challenges. How did they do it? What are they doing now to maintain that success? Because we are all going through the same thing, but in a different way. So I am so excited to introduce to you tonight my friend, and now your friend, Samy Pritchard, the #1 Sammy Davis tribute artist. Welcome, Ron, to the Nadia Sahari Show. I'm so happy to have you on the show. It's been a long time.
Yes. Since the last time I did your show, it was wonderful.
Yes.
It was absolutely wonderful.
It's
a joy to be back with you.
Thank you. I agree, and I feel good about this whole thing tonight because you have had a lot of exciting things happen since 3 years ago. So let's talk about, because most of the people that are my audience now probably don't know this, so we need to kind of go back a little bit. So tell us what your dream was when you were a little boy.
Wow, Nadia, you're going back a few years. But I will tell you, I've always wanted, Nadia, to be in show business, always. You know, and I was a class clown since I could remember. You know, I was born in Memphis, Tennessee, and I grew up on Elvis Presley and country music, that's for sure. And I love Elvis.
Me too.
Well, he the one pretty much started me seeing my family and I. And we moved here to California, Los Angeles. When I was about 13, 14 years old, I was like Jerry Lewis. I was lying around on the couch for a while. And all of a sudden, the bug bit me back in I believe it was in the 80s. I can't quite recall. But I went to Bancroft Junior High School there in Hollywood off of Las Palmas. And Francis Ford Coppola, that fantastic director of all these really groovy movies, The Godfather, Black Stallion, all kind of movies. And what happened was Francis decided to adopt our school and to show us what it would be like to run a movie studio and stuff like that. So he adopted the school, and he had the whole school, which was about probably 1,000 students all together, plus teachers and staff and all that. And we all went over. Now, keep in mind, Nadia, I go over with the whole school, but how I got in was I believe, I'm thinking right, I had cowboy boots on, brand new cowboy boots. I think I was the only black cat back then with cowboy boots. But anyway, I had new cowboy boots on. And as the staff of the studio, as we were leaving, after showing us around the studio and all, they were passing out film scripts of the Black Stallion and information about the studio. And the kids were everywhere. We were everywhere, scattered. And the teachers or the staff of the studio was trying to pass these things out. So I didn't want my cowboy boots to get stomped on. So I jumped up on the podium, and the lady said, "Hey, you can't be up here." And I said, "Oh, yeah, I can. What you got in your hand?" So I took her stack of folders or papers, but they were given out to us kids at the time, and I organized, because the kids were reaching for what she had. So when I took them from her, lovingly, of course, and I told everybody, in order, if you wanted one of these, you would have to form a line. Give me some lines. So I organized the line and got things passed out. And as I was leaving, someone put their arm around me and someone took a picture. And someone at my school, one of the teachers, said that, do you know who that was? I said, no. It was Francis Ford Coppola. And yes, and he said that I would make a great assistant director. Yeah, and from there, that's when the bug re-bit me. Now, I wanted to be in show business, but that's when the bug bit me. And Francis, Mr. Coppola at the time, was doing a movie called One from the Heart with Nastasia Kinski, Freddie Forster, and the late Raul Julia. And I hope I pronounced his name right. And he built Las Vegas on a sound stage, and it was called One from the Heart. You can look it up and you can see. He did a fantastic job. So Freddie Forster, the actor, said, hey, Francis, put the kid in the movie. So Francis gave me a part in the movie, extra, of course. But, man, Nadia, it was the most exciting thing. And I had a ball. And from there, I'm going to take a little break. Did you want to ask something?
Well, you got bit with another bug. What kind of bug was it this time?
It was a big one. It was a big one because it got my attention, you know. So okay, now here's the kicker here. Here's the payoff with Francis Ford Coppola. But he wanted some princesses, right? And so only cats, I guess, that were doing well in school. I don't know. I was a class clown. And but anyway, I wasn't supposed to be in that group because if it was anything against me, it just didn't fit the, I guess the narrative of being a class clown and why should we pick you and go over there and so you act silly. But anyway, I got in anyway. And the cat that we worked under, his name was Yanni. Interesting name. This guy is fantastic as well. But Nadia, so I got in, and so they showed us around, blah, 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 blah. And anyway, I had an absolute ball. And I ended up sticking around a long time, and I got to know Francis' children, his brother, August, all his wonderful children, boy, I'm the only one that was able to go in the bungalow. His son took me for a ride in his Porsche. He later passed. His name was Gio, and Francis loved all his kids. And to this day, I don't think Francis ever has gotten over Gio. And when I first met Gio, what a wonderful guy. Wonderful. And I said, man, you guys are rich. He said, no, we're not. That's how modest these people were. Yes. And just so wonderful. So from there, that's what happened. So Francis ended up auctioning off the studio. The studio was called Zoetrope Studio. It's now called Hollywood Center Studio. Jack Singer from Calgary, Canada. I remember that night I was there. Jack bought the studio for $5 million. And you know how they have food all around. I was there right on time. Jack says, listen, I just paid $5 million for this place, and there's no food here. And I went and rustled up a plate of food for Jack, the new owner, without really knowing who he was. And don't you know, me and that gentleman hit it off like nobody's business. I get to know his son, Alan Singer, who now runs the studio and has been doing so for years and years and years. He's fantastic. So I ended up going to Palm Springs probably the next 2 days with Jack. He let me drive the Silver Cloud Rolls Royce. We had a fantastic time. From there, Nadia, I've done a lot of things. I've had the privilege of doing a lot of things.
So fast forward, and let's talk about what year it was that you became Sammy Davis Jr. tribute artist. How did that happen? Tell us about that.
I think we talked about this on your show, but we didn't really get down. No, you got down to it. It's just that I probably talked over you. I don't know. Listen, in 1989, Nadia, I was a Michael Jackson fan and still am. and of the whole entire Jackson family. Big fan. And because he was more of my era. So La Cage aux Folles is a place where you have these very talented men who impersonate and pay tribute to these famous artists.
Yes.
Right? The female artists. And they're really very fantastic at it. And it was here in Hollywood on La Cienega. So I go in because I heard about the auditions. You know how you hear about auditions.
Yes.
And so I'm going to that and see if I can try out for it. So I go in and I see, the place being busy, and I see, people, not having their audition, but getting ready to be auditioned. So I go in and this gentleman sees me, handsome gentleman, white hair, glasses. And as I was standing around, he came over to me. He says, well, can I help you? And I said, yes, I'm here to audition for the part of Michael Jackson. And he looked at me, and right away he shut me down. He says, listen, we already have a Michael Jackson. And yes, they did. Pia was the Michael Jackson. Fantastic, right? Okay, now, as I had a long and sad face, Nadia, he looked at me. 5 minutes must have gone by, and he says, what do you know about Sammy Davis Jr.? I wanted to tell him absolutely nothing. Who is Sammy Davis Jr.? Because what he did, Nadia, he burst my bubble. I want to do Michael, and you're bringing up some cat I haven't even heard of, to my ignorance. And that's something I was ignorant of.
You had never heard of Sammy Davis Jr.?
No. He wasn't of my era.
Oh.
Well, he wasn't of my era, and I wasn't interested in the first place.
Right.
My thing was Michael Jackson.
Okay.
Because I enjoyed dancing, so I enjoyed the dance of Michael Jackson. I just
Sammy
loved
Davis
it.
Jr. wasn't during my era, but I remember him from seeing him, documentaries and stuff like that. But Michael Jackson was my thing too. I loved him. Yes. Go ahead. So go ahead.
But guess what though?
What?
Guess what?
What?
So I said I didn't know anything about singing. No, I said to him, no, sir, I don't know anything about Sammy Davis Jr. I was ignorant of who the world's greatest entertainer was, the world's greatest variety performer was. And he told me, he says, I want you to learn Sammy. And I looked at him. I said, oh, whatever. Well, I don't have money to learn. What are you talking about? In 3 days, Nadia, Mr. Leone placed $20,000 in my hand and said, listen, go and learn Sammy. Go learn. And I said, yes, sir, right away.
Wow.
I said, Michael Jackson has to be put on hold. Okay? So when I learned who Sammy Davis Jr. was, Nadia, my mouth dropped to the floor, literally. This man, my goodness. Now, Sammy was the Michael Jackson of his day, and then some, because he was a variety performer.
Well, he was a comedian, he was a singer.
He did it all.
An actor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Well, your listeners, I'm sure, we're having this conversation. I'm sure they will look up Sammy Davis Jr. and look up who this man was and the talent he possessed. My goodness.
Yes.
And I told this man, see, Nadia, little did I know that Mr. Leone, as he was looking at me, he had in mind to do a 6-hour television miniseries on the life of Sammy Davis. Oh. And we signed a 7-year contract. And unfortunately, nothing came of it because his son had passed away in between those talks and the contract. And he loved his son dearly. I remember him very well. He looked just like his dad. Oh, spoke like his dad. So when Mr. Leone wasn't around, Alan, I believe his name was, or it could have been Al too, but I believe Alan. It's been some time. But he was in a wheelchair before, but he sounds so much like his dad, looked so much like his dad and I loved his dad so much. You couldn't help but love him if you loved his dad. Right. Just like him. But anyway, so I started, this is in 1989. So when I got the money, I bought tape, books, this, that, and I tried to learn this man. And I want you to know it's been 20 years and he's so good. And that he's been so, I wouldn't say intimidating to me, but I would say that I respect his talent so much. You just don't want to do him wrong.
Let me tell you something.
Yes.
And I've told you this before, I have never, ever met anyone, or have I ever seen anyone on television, ever, impersonator, tribute artist, whatever you want to call it, whatever, or even a look-alike. I have never seen anyone that resembled and looked like you could be his clone. You are Sammy Davis Jr.'s clone. You are him. You are so much, you look so much, everything about you. Your speech, your mannerisms, everything. You're incredible. I've never met anyone like that.
That's very kind of you to say,
and I'm
Nadia.
Impressed. Well, it's the truth.
I can dig it, but
that's what Sammy said. I think I remember a documentary. He calls everyone cat, and I can dig it. Well, you know what? I want you to hold on a little bit, and here we are with Ron Samy Pritchard, Sammy Davis Jr. tribute artist, and we'll be right back with Ron. We're back, and we are interviewing Ron Samy Pritchard, the tribute artist for Sammy Davis Jr. And going back to what I said, and I said it when I can't imagine anyone else being Sammy. You are Sammy completely. So let's talk about what is going on today with you and Sammy.
As far as movies are concerned, I don't know whether people know about the movie Lovelace. I did that in 2013 along with Sharon Stone, Amanda Seyfried, Peter Sarsgaard, all these wonderful people. And it was based on a true story. That was good. I had the pleasure of playing Sammy. I had a great time there. And I've also done a lot of, just a few television shows, movies. My latest movie here is Frank and Ava, and it came out last year. So that was really nice to be a part of that. I'm happy
you're in that movie?
Yes, Frank and Ava.
Right.
Yes. And also, people probably don't know that, I've done music videos. I did the Tupac Shakur video. He requested me to play Sammy in the I Mad at You video, with the Makeshift Heaven, where all the black iconic entertainers were at the time, and that was very nice to be a part of that. He's very missed because I was a big fan of Tupac Shakur. Yes. And also, I still do my Rat Pack shows. What else did I got going?
Where do you do Rat Pack?
I do them everywhere.
Everywhere?
I do anybody who calls me, I'll come to your apartment and do it.
Oh, cool.
No. I do a lot of trade shows. I do the corporate events. That's very nice, and, they're very decent, wonderful. I have a ball meeting the people who love Sammy Davis Jr. Yeah, a lot of people, not yet. All the Sammy people, the Rat Pack, the people are gone. Well, I would strongly disagree with that because I've seen so many young people who have that cool way about them that those guys had back then, and I see them, and that's why I enjoy seeing people dressed up. young people, you know, when they wear their suits and that, they look marvelous. They have no idea.
Yes.
And yes, they look fantastic, and they know more about. You know, I would ask, they would say something very kind to me, Nadia, and they say, well, you remind me of Sammy, you know, when I do shows, thank you very kindly. And I said, well, what do you know about Sammy? You're pretty young. You know, they would say to me, Nadia, you'll be surprised at what I know, because you have to understand that their family members and uncles and every, you know, relatives either worked for these guys or they knew them or they grew up playing their music. And, you know, these kids today, they grew up knowing Frank, Dean, Sammy, Peter, and Joey was, and the Rat Pack and that whole era. So it really makes me feel good to see the young cat remembering, you know, the Rat Pack and these cats individually, because they were all marvelous. And let me tell you, and from doing all this, you know, I got to know, as you know, his kid. Well, before I talk about Sammy's kids and grandkids, let me say that Burt Boyer, who wrote Sammy Davis Jr.'s biography along with Sammy, two best-selling biographies. The first one was called Yes, I Can. The second one was called Why Me? And, of course, Burt wrote and did photos by Sammy. Wow. I met Burt, and Burt was so wonderful to me. Him and I became instant brothers. And I remember when I did the Actors E-Chat show with the fantastic Pepper J. And Burt surprised me, and he called in. And this wonderful host by the name of Chrissy Phillips interviewed me. She was absolutely fantastic. And she asked Burt, she says, Burt, well, you know, what did you see in Ron when you met him? He said, well, in the very way that I met Sammy, Ron, we hit it off the same way. Sammy and I hit it off the same way because, you know, Burt was a columnist writer, and you know, when the people come in, the actors come into town in New York and stuff, he would interview them. And when he interviewed Sammy, they hit it off so well to where, as you know, Nadia, that, you know, Sammy suggested they have dinner, every night. So that dinner turned in 5 nights a week. 5 nights a week turned into 7 nights a week, and they became lifelong friends, and that's how the book was born and all that. So, and you know, and with the kids, of course, you met Manny Davis, Sammy's son, with his mother, the late Altavis Davis, and we were out together, and of course, Tracy Davis is the daughter of Sammy Davis. I believe that, and then there's 2 more sons, Mark and Jeff, who are, I haven't met them. I've yet to meet them. But Tracy Davis, I remember taking her out to, I was going to an event honoring her dad on his birthday, December 8th, right? 1925, when he was born. And so I took her to, I was going to get a suite at the Beverly Wilshire Hotel, and I had a hat on. I don't know how she was sitting at the bar, and so the lady that was putting on the event said, "Well, this is not happening, so let's go meet Tracy." And we took them both to dinner there, and we had dinner, we had drinks, we had a marvelous time, and we hit it off so well, Nadia. And I got an opportunity. She told me a lot of things. She told me that she would always support what I do on her father, and I thought that was nice, because as she's looking at me, she's telling me that what you're doing, my dad did. He did this, he did that, right? And I got to meet the beautiful grandkids. I remember Chase, Montana, and Greer. And I think Sammy Davis Jr., who was named after his grandfather, he wasn't there. And I got to meet Tracy's first husband that Sammy Davis Jr. was absolutely crazy about. And I can see why. When I hugged this man, his name is Guy Gardner. When I hugged this man, the warmth in this man, it just, his spirit was so warm and so wonderful. And I talk about him every chance I get, because from that one meeting wow. And it's almost like when we met, it's the same thing, just wonderful. People are wonderful. So I have been very blessed, to say the least, to be able to pay tribute to the late, great Sammy Davis Jr., the world's greatest variety performer. Absolutely fantastic. I don't now, you know what, now I don't think a lot of people know that Sammy Davis sang the theme from Beretta. I love that show. I had no idea that Sammy sang that song. And Sammy, his music repertoire goes from here to Texas.
Wow.
That's how many songs he sang. He was just absolutely fantastic. So I'm just, so if you hear me talking so much, it's because I'm so excited to be a part of his life and being able to pattern my entertainment side.
Well,
after him.
You should be. And I mean, you've done a great job with it, and you have a passion that is amazing. You really are an awesome tribute artist for Sammy Davis Jr. I think he would be so thrilled if he were here. He would just love what he sees. And
know what?
He would. And so go ahead. Uh-huh.
No, I'm sorry to cut you off, Nadia. Let me piggyback on what you're saying. Now, when I was working at La Caja Fall, now, of course, I had to go around town to see, because I didn't see what Al had seen in me. When I looked in the mirror, I saw Michael Jackson. I saw nobody could tell me different. If you told me I looked like Ron, I would have said you're being dishonest. I look like Michael. That's it, and that's all. But so I'm on the stage one day. I'm rehearsing, and Al calls me into his office.
Uh-huh.
And he says, Ron, I want to talk to you. So I saw I come down. So he had a box there. And I said, okay. He opened the box, and it was a black derby.
Uh-huh.
And it was one of Sammy's old derbies, definitely his. And he says, well, and a note was with it, and it was from Altavis, his wife.
Oh.
And, and said that if Sammy wasn't sick, exactly what you just said, it's exactly what she said. He would be on stage with you.
Yes.
Yes, and I just wanted to say that to you. And I just want you to know that, the Davis family, those of them I've met, I think they're wonderful people.
Do you still have a relationship with them?
Pardon me, yes. I believe I have. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's been since 2011 since I've seen Tracy Davis. But of course, just probably 3 years ago, Manny, I believe before Bert passed, I talked to him. Bert Boyer, Sammy's autobiographer, he passed April 4th, 2018, last year.
Oh.
Now, we were talking, and I talked to him that morning. I was blessed to be able to talk to him that morning, and he had passed, and Nadia, wow, you talking about a sad person, and I still am, but I celebrate knowing him. I don't want that sadness. Yes. I celebrate because I had the pleasure to be at his home anytime, and if you look me up on MySpace, you'll see the guns that Sammy gave him that I'm wearing, and you'll see pictures of me and Bert, and so that warms my heart. But before then, Sammy just had on, I believe, April 25th, I've Gotta Be Me, a new documentary had come out on Sammy, and we were talking about on the phone going to that together, and George Slaughter was there. So who knew Sammy better other than Bert Boyer, his biographer, and George Slaughter, who produced Sammy's 60th anniversary in show business and many, many other things.
Right.
And but that's when I had met Manny there, and he was kind to me. He's a very nice young man, very, 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 very nice. I like them. At times, people do things that you kind of agree with and don't agree with, but you have to just get through it. But overall, his family, I think, is fantastic. I can't wait to meet his two sons, Mark and Jeff.
Oh, cool.
And yeah,
Well,
that'd
cool.
be fantastic.
Well, it sounds amazing. I mean, that is so cool that you know the family, you know the children, you've met everyone, and they all love you and they all admire you, and that is wonderful. And I know and I don't want to mention names. I do know that there are celebrities who had tribute artists that were not thrilled about it. The family was not. You, on the other hand, it's a whole different story. So anyway,
Yeah.
I think it's wonderful, and I want you, if you would, tell the listeners where they could connect with you on your social media.
Yes. Before I do that, Nadia, if it's okay, I also want you to know that I'm celebrity endorsed, and I've had the pleasure of meeting all the people that I've grown up with and wanted to hang out with, like the John Travoltas and the Tom Cruises. I've had the sports stars from Dennis Rodman to Shaquille O'Neal, all buddies.
Wow.
And I want you to know, and more than that, they have been very, very kind to me, and it's almost like they have received me because they know I want to do the job, and plus, Sammy reminds me of me. So it's not an imitation when you see me talking out of the side of my mouth.
That is true, because I'll tell you, you are impeccable. The way you impersonate him is impeccable, and there is nothing like it. And I believe that they feel the same way that I feel when I talk to you and I see you. I'm sorry to say this, but it's not like Ron is there. It's like Sammy's there and you're talking to Sammy. But you have such a passion to do his tribute so well. You have a passion to be Sammy, and that's what makes you the best. That's what makes you the best.
I'm so happy that his friends think so. I'm so happy that Bert Boyer thought so. And also, Nadia, is there one other thing, Bert also, there's a movie on Sammy that Bert was working on. Yeah, and it was Lionel Richie and Paramount Pictures was going to do it, right? And and Bert, Bert Boyer, he submitted a letter to Lionel's manager, Bruce Eskowitz, regarding me, and plus his agent, Chris Dawson. But anyway, so that's that. So let me tell your wonderful listeners how they could reach me. And I don't have many things that they can reach me on, but I'm on Facebook. You can find me at Ron Samy Pritchard. You can check out some posts, pictures, and all that stuff. I have a Twitter. I think it's under the same thing. Then I have Ron Pritchard, and there's a few. Just look for, when you look me up, just look for Ron Samy Pritchard or Ron Pritchard, or Sammy, they call me on MySpace, stuff like that. And other things will be coming up that I haven't been on I haven't been in the social media lately, because I have a show that I'm doing. It's the Dean and Sammy show that we're working on.
Oh, cool.
And I'm working with this wonderful, talented gentleman by the name of Buddy the Entertainer Watson. He's fantastic. He plays Dean Martin. He's fantastic. And
cool.
Eddie, he's fantastic. And I love him. And he really is an entertainer. I don't want anybody, listen, okay, I'm going to let this out the bag. He tap dances better than I do. He's really very good. So, but other than that, he makes me look good. So I told him he better not get on stage and out tap dance me. He better not. But anyway, Nadia. So that's what's happening. So that's how they can reach me. You can easily find Ron Samy Pritchard anywhere. We're going to be updating some things on upcoming shows and events. And I also, for your listening audience, Nadia, that I'm available for shows, for bookings. And I don't know if I should leave a phone number. It's on...
no, they can get it from Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, great.
Yeah, that might be better. Yes.
Okay, so I'm available for booking. Anything you want, I'll come there and do it. Okay.
Now,
and I'm reasonable.
If you like, do you have an email address that?
I sure do.
Well,
absolutely,
you can tell them your email address if they want to contact you.
Okay, that'd be great. And you can reach me at Ron Samy. No, I'm sorry. Wow. No, I take two. Okay, you can reach me at Ron Pritchard 66 at gmail.com. That's Ron Pritchard 66 at gmail.com.
Okay. See what I mean? You think you're Sammy.
Yeah. Ain't that nothing, Nadia? I ought to be slapped on my wrist.
Well, it's been a pleasure. You're a wonderful guest, and you are a wealth of information. You have so much to share. And what I would like, one thing that I would like to ask you before we close the show.
Yes.
If anyone out there has a dream to be a tribute artist, we know that there are many. What advice would you give to someone that is going after that type of career?
Well, first of all, you want to be yourself. Secondly, do your homework, practice your craft, something I don't always do. But it's very important that you get to know the character that you're playing, get to know what makes he or she tick and what made them become what they became in the public's eye as an entertainer. And I would say keep your faith, keep doing it. I can assure you, you will get burnt out on, going to auditions, this, that. But there's always going to be someone who will say to you at some point in time, hey, kid, you're the one. It happened to Sammy, and it happened to me. Yes. And I'm sure that other people, Tyra Banks walking down the street, hey, you'll look great on the runway. Mm-hmm. And it's happened to countless of people. So I would say to your listening audience that, when we were created by the good Lord, he packed us with talent.
Yes.
You have more than one talent. Yes. More than one talent. So those talents that you have, make them work for you, whether it be entertainment or anything that you go for. Be the best at it. And most of all, I could say to your listening audience, have integrity about yourself, character. Be a decent person. And everything you do as far as being decent, loyal, all that will come back to you, and you will meet those people that you want. You're treating people the way you want to be treated. So if you're loyal, honest, and all that, you're going to meet people like that. And there's nothing like having friends like that. Nothing.
Good.
And you can't beat it. You can't beat it.
Right.
So
that's right.
Yeah, keep the faith and keep doing what you do. And I don't like when people say, well, don't ever let anybody tell you you can't do anything. Well, people will tell you you can't do something. They will tell you that you're not good at this. But you just keep working on your craft, keep doing what you do. You don't have to be that person, but you can add your own flavor, but yet keep paying tribute to them or become the actor or the actress that you want to be.
That's right. And that's what it is. It's an act.
Yes.
And
yes.
Like anything else, life is an act.
Exactly.
We act every day. We don't even realize
we act.
We do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Every day.
So. Yeah, but you don't want to act to get over. You want to act because it's the right thing to do. When you're doing something, you want to put that sincerity in what you do. But if it calls if it calls for you doing something other than that, then you go into your acting and do your very best. And don't ever let them say, Nadia, gee, I didn't enjoy the performance.
Well, that's the key right there. And that's great advice for anyone who wants to be a tribute artist or anything else, whatever your dream is. It's to do your best. It's to go out there and do the best you can and do it better than anyone else. That's
please your audience.
That's right. That's the key to success.
Yes. And people don't ask for much. They just, they want to be entertained. With so much going on in the world today, Nadia, entertainment is key. Entertainment is key. Music is key. Yes. Dancing, shows, fun. People love it. I love it.
Yes, I do too.
It.
Well, thank you so much for sharing and for giving the advice and everything. You're a wonderful human being, and I'm glad you're my friend, and I'm glad I met you. And I've already known you for 5 years?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So
and not
yes.
And let me cut you off, and I'm sorry. Listen, I want your listening audience to know that Nadia, she's a really groovy, swinging woman, and she has a heart of gold. She really does. And when we first met, I fell in love with her personality. Mm-hmm. And as you can see, as she said, it's been 5 years. Continue to support Nadia in what she's doing because it's what she said in her opening, that this is something she wanted to do since she was 10 years old. And you, the listening audience, you can make that happen for her as you are now. So I thank you for supporting Nadia. And Nadia, I thank you, and likewise, thank you for being my friend.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank
and
you.
Until we meet and see each other again, which will be soon.
Yes.
Okay?
And thank you for the sentiments. You're wonderful. Thank you. You take good care of yourself. I mean it from my heart. I know you do. You're a wonderful human being. Yes, you are. You have a great heart. Thank you so much.
All right, now, Nadia, it's been an absolute joy. You have a really groovy, swinging evening, okay?
Okay,
thank you. Your listening audience, and we'll be talking to you soon.
Okay, God bless you.
Good night, dear.
Good night.
Thank you.
That was Samy Pritchard, tribute artist for Sammy Davis Jr. What a fabulous human being. He's absolutely wonderful and beautiful. Inside, outside, he's wonderful. He's got the biggest heart, and he's a gentleman. He really is. So I want to thank you, listeners, for listening to the show. And you know that Sammy, I even call him Sammy, that Ron is on Facebook and Twitter. And he gave you his email, which is ronpritchard66@gmail.com, if you'd like to contact him. Thank you so much. And I just want to mention that I have a book, a memoir. If you'd like to get it from Amazon.com, read a little bit about me, find out who I am, where I came from, and what I've achieved from where I was. Oh my goodness, you will be amazed. I would love you to get Breakaway, The Road to Freedom. I wrote this book and it was published in 2009. If you would like to read it and see where I came from and how I've overcome so much, and we all do in some way. And I thank you so much for listening and for supporting this show. And please share this with your friends. I appreciate you so much, and God bless you all. Good night.
Thanks for tuning in with Nadia and her guests. For more info, episodes, and connection, please visit our website, thenadiasaharishow.com. Share episodes with your friends. Follow us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Instagram, and most importantly, never give up. Live your dream.